Something you boys might not know about me is the fact that from the age of 6 all the way up until about 6 months ago, I was actually a vegetarian. I know, surprising, right? Considering I don't shout it in your face every 3 seconds. Those people are the absolute worst. The types of people who base their entire personalities on their victim status or their virtue signaling of their superior values. They are the absolute most soul-sucking people to be around. Avoid at all costs. But anyway, yeah, for the vast majority of my life, I was actually a vegetarian. And it was only up until 6 months ago where I actually decided to start picking up and eating meat again. And the vast difference it's made to my health is quite astonishing. But before I go into that, why even was I a vegetarian? Was it because I am a hippie and I need to save all of the animals? Tying myself to a cow to show solidarity? Rolling around in the mud with my pig brethren to show support for them? No. It's none of that. To be honest, I'm quite impartial to the harsh realities of the food chain. Of course, I'm not a cruel person. I don't want animals or any living being to suffer. But I wasn't a vegetarian because of some morality thing. To be honest, the reason why I was vegetarian is because at 6 years old, I was enjoying a nice packed lunch that my mom made me. And in that packed lunch included a delectable, succulent ham sandwich. And I was very much so enjoying my delectable succulent ham sandwich, but then my older sister decided to describe to me in quite brutal detail exactly what it was that I was eating. My sister at the time was actually a vegetarian herself, so she decided to put me off meat for 18 years of my life. And the funny thing is, just 3 months after the ham sandwich incident, my sister decided that she was no longer going to be vegetarian herself. So essentially, she trolled 18 years of my diet and my life for no reason. But yeah, that one experience stuck with me, and I couldn't stomach any meat after that. I would find it really, really uncomfortable to even walk down the butcher aisle in Sainsbury's. For 18 years, I didn't eat burgers, I didn't eat KFC chicken, I didn't even eat steak. Fast forward to now, and I absolutely love steak. Ribeye medium with a nice peppercorn sauce on the side with some sweet potato mash. Oh baby. But you might be wondering, Sam, what made you make such a drastic change to your diet? And it came down to 3 reasons, which I'm gonna go over now. Reason 1, the quality of protein. It's funny that I didn't know this, and I'm wondering how many of you guys are actually aware of this yourselves, so do let me know in the comments. But did you know that there's different levels of quality to protein? And it depends on the amount of amino acids present in your food. I'm not a fucking scientist, and I'm not gonna pretend to be. So if you want the full explanation, go find it elsewhere. But essentially, if I have 50 grams of protein from, for example, a steak, and 50 grams of protein from, I don't know, pasta, I'm probably not gonna be able to use anywhere near the full amount of protein from the pasta dish because of the lack of amino acids. However, with a steak, it's so nutrient dense that you can actually soak up and use all of it. But essentially, different protein sources are better than others. I actually learned this from one of my students inside of my Academy of Excellence. We were in a call and we were discussing his video editing, and I was giving him some advice and some tips. And he's quite clued up on health, fitness, bodybuilding, diet, etc. And it kind of fucking blew my mind because I've been thinking that I'm getting 200 grams of protein a day from my various sources of whatever, you know, like pasta sauce and just bullshit, right? But the reality is, because they're low quality protein sources that I was getting it from, I probably wasn't getting anywhere near that. I was probably only getting about 120 grams of protein rather than the 200 grams which I thought I was getting. The quality of protein you get from meat is absolutely top tier, and it shouldn't come to any surprise. And that's not even mentioning all of the micronutrients it's packed with as well. So for the sake of efficiency for my fitness and health journey, I decided from that moment on I would become more open to the idea of eating meat again. Reason number 2 is that veganism and vegetarianism is actually getting pushed hard by mainstream media right now, while eating meat is actually getting heavily demonized. Now boys, my rule of thumb, and I've actually mentioned this before and I'll say it again, is that if something is being pushed by mainstream media as healthy and a good thing for you to do, the likelihood of that actually being true is quite small. I generally go against the grain on new wave things like that. For thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, we have eaten meat. Why is it now that BuzzFeed soy cook media want to push a new diet of vegetables and fruit and all this shit. I don't trust it at all. To be frank with you, I don't trust a fucking thing that mainstream media pushes. Of course, make your own decisions, but I'm just saying, like, if mainstream media is pushing something, take it with a big fat grain of salt. And if mainstream media is demonizing something, also take that with a big fat grain of salt. Do your own research and experiment. And reason number 3, it might seem a little bit silly, but like, not eating meat is a bit awkward socially. So I go to my friend's birthday dinner and he decides that he wants to go to a steakhouse. And bearing in mind, I'm rolling with a bunch of absolute fucking killers. A bunch of fucking G's. And we're going around a table and one by one they're all ordering their big fat manly fuck off steak. Then it comes to me and I order macaroni cheese. That is fucking unacceptable. That exact scenario is the sort of scenario that I would imagine some BuzzFeed reporter to actually be in, like, oh yeah, sorry guys, I don't eat meat, I'll have some pasta instead at the steakhouse. That's not me, I don't fit into that category, so fuck that, I've got to eat steak, man. Over the last 5 years, we've seen a rise in the carnivore diet. And to be honest with you, I'm a strong believer that it's actually probably a very good diet to take on. And I would 100% try it myself. And you know what? I did. A few months ago in Dubai, I went one day where I only ate meat and 0 carbs. I woke up the next day feeling like an absolute zombie. My energy was absolutely 0. And my stomach was in absolute bits as well. I immediately ordered 2 pastas. Boys, carbs have got me by the balls. And to be fair, it wasn't a very good way to try and go into a carnivore diet. I've had a very, very, very heavy carb diet for all of my life. So just going cold turkey one day and just like, okay, no carbs, boom, without any sort of tapering was a fucking terrible idea. I do believe that the carnivore diet's a very good diet for losing weight and for mental clarity. More meat means less shitty carbs, right? Meat is generally more satiating as well. So many high-level guys have actually praised the carnivore diet. You've got Iman Gadzi, you've got Andrew Tate, you've of course got Jordan Peterson. So frankly, I believe that it's probably a very good diet model. The problem is, it's pretty fucking hard to sustain. And to me, anything that's not sustainable over a long period of time is not worth investing in. You might be wondering, Sam, how did you actually start to eat meat after all of that time? How did it happen? It must have been a pretty jarring thing to try and do. And it was. I didn't just snap my fingers and start just tucking into fucking steak. And even now, like, there's a lot of meat which is still off the menu for me because I just find it a little bit jarring to eat, right? I did it very gradually over a few months. Basically, when I'm sat down having my meal and my friend had his meal, maybe he has some chicken and rice, I would essentially just have a little nibble on his chicken to just get myself used to eating that. And chicken is probably the easiest meat to eat. It's a lean meat and it just goes down easier. If I tried to go all in and just started ordering, like, you know, big portions of meat myself and just trying to get through it, my body would have actually rejected it. That happened twice before when I tried to quit being a vegetarian. I tried to eat some fish and I tried to eat some chicken, and both times I literally vomited it. I don't know if it was because of a mental thing or because my body's just not used to meat. It doesn't matter either way, so I had to gradually get into eating meat again, just having a nibble on it here and there over a few months period, until eventually I could get a chicken and rice myself and just eat it. Continue doing that, and eventually I was able to start eating steaks, and steak is fucking brilliant. Steak's easily one of my favorite meals to have right now. And I noticed that my energy and my mental clarity and how I just feel so much more positive and happy if I've had a steak. I also just look healthier. I don't know why, I just look healthier. But yeah, I thought I'd share my anecdotal experience with you boys. I thought you might find it interesting. Guys, the food we put in our body is literally our fuel, so it's very much so worth experimenting and figuring out what works for you. I do recommend adding meat to your diet. You don't have to go extreme, you don't have to go carnivore, but just more meat equals less shitty processed carbs, okay? I hope this video was helpful and insightful. If you want to learn my pathway to financial and location freedom, click the first link in the description now. Become one of my over 200 students who are inside of my academy and making money online. Click the first link in the description right now. Take care, boys.